If I gave you $100 billion and you had 4 years and you spent that entire 4 years with that 100 billion trying to build hash power to attack the network, you could somewhat slow down my message, but you couldn't stop my message after 4 years and $100 billion. So Bitcoin it's a way to inscribe truth forever. It's a way to convey truth, message it anywhere. And then finally, a decade after Satoshi mined Bitcoin, Satoshi could prove that they're the owner of those wallets by signing a message instantly.
Micheal Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, has stated that their enterprise market value has increased from around $600 million to over $6 billion since they adopted a Bitcoin strategy in August 2020. He believes that Bitcoin has been the best performing asset when compared to other treasury assets such as the S&P index, Nasdaq, gold, silver, and bonds. MicroStrategy's stock has also outperformed Bitcoin recently, and Saylor considers Bitcoin a winning treasury strategy. Saylor explained that they had two options, either to sit in sovereign debt, such as holding treasury bonds, which yield around 3.8%, or to adopt Bitcoin, which has been appreciating by over 50% for the past 3 years. He believes that holding cash or treasury bonds is not a compelling option for public company investors because cash cannot outperform the S&P index. By adopting Bitcoin, MicroStrategy was able to plug its balance sheet into the crypto economy, making it an institutional on-ramp for other investors who have the mandate to invest in securities but cannot invest directly in Bitcoin due to regulatory reasons. MicroStrategy's stock is a security, not a commodity, making it easier for investors to buy, sell, and borrow against it. Saylor thinks that other big public companies will be able to put Bitcoin on their balance sheets once Financial Accounting Standards Board adopts fair value accounting, which is expected to happen towards the end of 2023. This will simplify the accounting and allow companies to reap investment gains as well as investment losses. Saylor also expects more guidance from the FDIC and the Treasury on how banks can custody Bitcoin. And as crypto exchanges register with the SEC, it will open up the door for Bitcoin spot ETFs. Let us now get into the video as Micheal Saylor talks about Bitcoin as a hedge against financial insolvency, the use cases of the Lightning Network, and how Bitcoin will help to regulate AI. Sit tight and enjoy the video. Also, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, and drop your comments.
I think that the Lightning Network represents an open, permissionless protocol for secure transactions worldwide. So if you want to integrate the payment networks of 100,000 different companies in every country on earth, and you want to allow them all to interoperate and move money at the speed of light and program the money and build intelligence in the transactions and in authentications, then you need some protocol that they all share. And of course, Lightning is that protocol. Right now, the way that money moves is on a credit network run by banks. So if I wanted to take $100 and I wanted to send it to you, I would probably pay a 2 to 3% fee, and it would take 45 days to settle. So if that $100 moves 40 times, it'll take about 5 to 6 years, and the banks will have all the money and you'll have none of the money. So the money disappears and it takes 6 years to move. And the Lightning Network is a protocol that allows the money to move 40 times in about a minute, and you get to keep the money. So what it represents is a technology breakthrough, but it's not just a technology to move the money a million times faster and a million times cheaper, but it also is an open, permissionless protocol. And that means a bunch of entrepreneurs in South Africa can create an application on the weekend that works with an application running in Nigeria, that works with a bank running in Tokyo, that works with another retailer in Istanbul, and that'll work with someone in New York, and that'll work with 100 Silicon Valley startups. And they all can figure out how to integrate that protocol into their mobile app, into their website, into their product, into their service. And I think the point Rouhani made is, which is very compelling, is without SMTP, there's no way for all the email systems to interoperate. And yet today, everybody can create an email integration into their application, and that's why billions and billions of people can talk to each other. Lightning represents the protocol that allows billions and billions of people to transact with each other. And clearly, it's got to be instant final settlement. It's got to be programmable, but it can't be proprietary. What we learned is that, the proprietary protocols of Digital or IBM or Microsoft, they didn't succeed. It was the open protocols that were available to everyone in the world. And the reason why is because they're ethical. Nobody owns them. No one's cashing in on them. And because they're permissionless, they're open to everybody. And that means that people will trust them. And trust is it's critical when you need to get 100 million companies to work with each other in every country, because at the end of the day, the only thing that everybody can agree to trust is a protocol that everyone shares and no one controls. And that's what Lightning represents to the future of money.
One of the most crucial concerns of the 21st century is how to govern new technology. There is growing evidence that although 21st century technological advancements, particularly blockchain and artificial intelligence, have had profound benefits and implications for governments, they also pose significant risks to society. The disagreement among the major players divided them into two categories, including self-regulation and state regulation proponents. Saylor further makes important comments as to how Bitcoin will play a very large part in regulating AI and in the reduction of industrial deepfakes and other risks involved in the unchecked AI sector. Let us now listen as he talks about the role Bitcoin has to play in this.
The promise of AI is that this digital intelligence can do incredibly intricate things as well as or better than actual human beings. But one of the challenges of it is that that means that you can spin up a billion fake AI accounts on Twitter or YouTube or Facebook that are more interesting and more engaged than the actual human beings are that they replace. And those AIs can pass the CAPTCHAs or the proof of humanity test. And so that means that we can no longer rely upon free accounts that are not cryptographically secured or monetarily secured. So the solution that Lightning offers and the solution that Bitcoin offers is the idea that someone can create an identity and they can post a security deposit, say $20 or some 100,000 Satoshis. And then once you posted that deposit, you can cryptographically sign that credential and then use that credential as your verification to cross the iMessage network or the Twitter network or the YouTube network or a Microsoft network or a Facebook network. And you can integrate those networks together. So you can integrate the blue checks from all those networks together. You can log in and authenticate as a real person onto that network. And in many cases, if there is no friction, then you open up the door for AI-driven toxicity. If there's no friction for me to comment on your post in Twitter, then 800,000 fake bots can comment and they can create any impression they want. So the way to create that friction is to require some minor deposit. Maybe it's a micropayment, like 100 Satoshis. Maybe it's a deposit of security that guarantees that you're not going to launch a phishing attack on me or a cyber attack on me. So when you introduce that small deposit, let's say $10 to move through cyberspace, it's de minimis for a human being because they post $10 of Bitcoin once in their life. But if I wanted to launch 1 billion bots at you, it would cost me $10 billion to do it. So when you create that little bit of friction, you create consequence and truth and integrity in cyberspace. And if you introduce that across all these social media, you can use it to clean up the phishing and the scamming and the toxicity. And you have this other very interesting promise of Bitcoin, which is Bitcoin's the world's most secure computer network. So if I wanted to inscribe a document, let's say my last will and testament, I could inscribe that document and encrypt it and then place it on the Bitcoin network. I could digitally sign it with my private key. It would be distributed to hundreds of thousands of nodes around the world. It would be impossible to squeeze off of the network for 1,000 years. Something will go on for hundreds or thousands of years. So I'm cryptographically burning it into the network. And then I'm guaranteed to be able to send that message anywhere in the world because Bitcoin is a nation-state resistant cyber network.
MicroStrategy, the business intelligence company co-founded by Micheal Saylor, has purchased Bitcoin each quarter since August 2020. The company is the largest corporate holder of the primary cryptocurrency, owning 140,000 Bitcoin. It accumulated its stash at an average price of $29,803, meaning it currently sits on a minor unrealized loss. Despite the volatile nature of Bitcoin and the 2022 bear market that disrupted the cryptocurrency industry, MicroStrategy seems determined to only keep strengthening its Bitcoin position. The firm jumped on the bandwagon in August 2020 by purchasing over 21,000 Bitcoin and embracing a strategy focused on the leading digital asset. Our Bitcoin investment is part of our new capital allocation strategy, which seeks to maximize long-term value for our shareholders. This investment reflects our belief that Bitcoin, as the world's most widely adopted cryptocurrency, is a dependable store of value and an attractive investment asset with more long-term appreciation potential in holding cash, MicroStrategy's executive chairman, Micheal Saylor, said at the time. The company stayed loyal to Saylor's words and continued increasing its possessions in the following years. It purchased certain amounts of Bitcoin during each quarter up until now. The firm's most substantial purchases came at the start of its strategy when it accumulated over 38,000 Bitcoin in Q3 2020, and then took that amount to more than 70,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. The increase of Bitcoin's value over the past several months has financially benefited MicroStrategy, allowing it to turn a profit during Q1. It registered a net income of $461 million, whereas the software business revenue exceeded the estimations. The development is partly due to tax benefits resulting from the firm's Bitcoin holdings. The company also used Bitcoin's price surge to repay its $205 million loan to the failed Silvergate Bank at a 22% discount. What do you think of Saylor's view on the use of Bitcoin in regulating AI? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.